I am at the entrance to this cave and I'm going to record myself crawling through the entire cave all the way to the bottom. So that will just be kind of a one-take situation. I need to put my bag in the entrance. So let's get going. It's not a big cave, but it is a little bit mazy. There's a few squeezes and it's a little interesting. And this is a cave that Andrew, Jacob, and I just finished. And so we know the cave, we've pushed the cave. And then I left some gear in the cave, which this happens pretty often. We just have so much with us. Means that we're taking video some of the time. So there's some gear at the bottom of the cave I need to go fetch. And so I thought I would just take you with me and we can talk about it. Put my bag here. All right, well, we're getting there. Lost my cup already. Oh, I forgot how tight this is right here. It's not easy. I'm taking the crawl way. There is a way you can go up over top, but it is, you get a rope down in, and I just think that for today's purposes, this is a little better. We'll get to it. Oh, goodness sakes. I should not have turned that way. Well, this is why no one caves. Because just even getting in the entrance is just absolute nonsense. Okay. Well, I gotta come back in here to get the bag, cup. Ugh. It's just a tight little situation. Once I'm through here, I can, you know, chat a little bit more. I have something I want to talk about today. I'm always trying to answer the question why, and that's a difficult question because I always find that why we do this, if you ask someone why, it's about as good a question as if, as the answer because. You say why, I say because. That's an equally good answer for the question. And I've already dropped the light. It's okay, it's just a difficult area to navigate through right here. Because now it's best to just drop down through here. I'm gonna set this here. A little bit of it anyways. So this is a nice big cave, but as you can see, very few people, even if they knew about it, would bother to do that. We found this from the inside, so we dug this out. I like to think of this as our entrance exit. And in here is home to a number of species of cave moths. Some people just go caving to find moths. Whew. There's more here. I wonder if that, yeah. There's just so much breakdown in this cave. These crack caves are complicated little systems. Okay, so this comes out on a ledge here. Wow. Oh, that's the other entrance. It's up above me, and I gotta drop down this. So I gotta get down this before I get yakking too much. About a 15-foot drop, but you know, it feels like 100 when you're on top. It feels dangerous because I can't see what I'm doing or where I'm stepping. Trying to do so with the camera. It's only unsafe if I make it unsafe. So each time I move, I just have to be sure that I have good grip on something somewhere. And that's about it. I mean, I can't do better than that. Okay, there's my other foothold down there. Kind of my foothold. Okay, there's my handhold. Handhold's below me, and I just got to get a hold of that and trust it. And we're down. So I've just landed in the bigger rooms of the cave, which are cool. I'm gonna walk down the big path. Sometimes people ask, you know, do you talk in a cave to comfort yourself? And it might seem like that because we're just yakking and yakking, and I am a bit of a talker, so that's not a problem for me. But it's much easier not to talk. Caves require a lot of concentration, and I divert my concentration when I chat, and it sort of, that's why you hear Jacob or I or anyone sort of get lost in our thoughts, because it's harder to talk when you're concentrating. Cave like this requires concentration. There's the main entrance up top that people previously roped into, but we found that it can be scrambled. Why do we do this? All right, getting into it. Because caving in difficult situations forces us to live in that moment. And this is opinion. I think there's some psychology for this. Certainly, you can try it. Try to only think about what you're doing at the time you are doing it. If you're having a conversation, listen to the person in such a way where you're not thinking about what you're going to say, because what you're going to say is in the future. Try to live, even for a moment, not thinking about something dumb you said in the past. Try to think about only how you're living in the current moment. Don't think about the dumb thing you did yesterday, or, the good thing, the exciting thing that's going to take place tomorrow. Everybody knows that something exciting takes place tomorrow. Sometimes you lose sleep over that. You're so excited you're going to go to Disneyland. You got a big caving trip planned. People get anxious. It's true that most of the time, most people, especially, I think, well, I don't know which kind of people. I think it's easier from wealthy nations when you have a lot of options. Or if you're just a wealthy person. I'm gonna turn this down here and waddle down so gravity's below me. The issue is that we're somewhere else, somewhen else. A different time, a different place. This is where we almost always put our minds, is somewhere else, somewhen else. I had a friend who used to not even like being on the telephone because he said, that's somewhere else. You want to be somewhere else with another person. I mean, I think that we need to probably tolerate the idea of those technologies being pretty helpful. But even with movies, you can get to where, okay, that's you're living in the moment, kind of, because you're not thinking about your problems, and I think that's why people like movies. But even with movies, you're kind of somewhere else. You're thinking about a place that you're not at. And so there's not a lot of activities in life unless it's really exciting or, oh yeah, or really scary. You can get through there, absolutely. Or if it's really scary. If you have a really scary situation or a really exciting situation, you are going to just take it out these extra rolls. You're going to be living in the moment. You're not going to think about anything else. And I think that's the best place to live, is in the moment. It's very difficult to do. Well, it can be if that muscle isn't strong on you. Caving has presented us enough fun and challenges, an appropriate amount of danger and excitement, that I don't think about my problems or my solutions in life. I'm just living in the moment. And in that moment, you're really alive. Okay, yeah. And you're basically not really quite as alive in doing any other thing. You do not have to do caving. In fact, you don't even have to do exciting stuff. There are people now that do a good job with meditation, and they say, like, center yourself. Just center yourself on the earth. What they mean is try to rid yourself of all those thoughts of yesterday or tomorrow or anything at all. Just be present in the moment, and actually even don't let your thoughts get in the way. Like, thoughts are almost always lies about how smart you are or how dumb you are. They're just not really true most of the time. So shut your brain down, kind of, and just think about, you know, when you meditate, you think about your breath. This is a reason why every religion of the world is big on prayer and meditation, because you're getting rid of so much spoiled thoughts and so much, that's too bright, so much thoughts that aren't true. Thoughts about you, that you're not good enough or that you are good enough, and none of these are really have any value too much, in my opinion. And you're not really alive. The world's full of zombies living somewhere else, someone else, is what I'm trying to say. We're always trying to be somewhere else, with someone else, thinking about tomorrow, thinking about yesterday, and we're rarely just living in the moment. And caving for a few hours a day, I really have to just focus on what I'm doing, and it's actually very hard. In fact, right now I'm violating the principle when I speak, because I'm thinking about the video in the future, and I'm not really here caving. I'm barely paying attention. I'm barely enjoying the dark under earth. And so it steals some of the joy. Not that you're a thief, but I'm stealing some of my own joy, because I think, oh, later it will be fun to make a video, but then I'm putting the video together and I'm thinking about something else. This is kind of a hard move, so I'm not sure, again, when I'm videoing myself, how well I can do to keep it all on camera. This spot in the cave we named Shabuski's Roll. You may get this before that video is released, because these little one-off videos are a lot easier to produce than the big videos. So even while I'm not feeling up super well yet, I can generally make these non-edited videos. Maybe that's all the channel becomes. Maybe I stop making these and only work on the long versions. I just don't know. But I can tell you that living in the time and space that you are currently in, and not trying too hard to be somewhere else, you're not going to be able to do that all the time. It's a real discipline of the mind. But if you can, I call it Shabuski's Roll because I have to rotate my body as I come up through here, and makes the move much easier. If you can discipline your mind to be present, then that's when you're really alive. Everything else, you're not really living. I mean, you're alive, but you're just breathing the air. You're thinking about something else, something you said yesterday, something you're gonna do tomorrow, someplace you'd rather be with this set of friends. I mean, look, if you're young out there, I got a nephew and nieces, they're all teenagers, and they're often plagued with hanging out with one set of friends or another, and they gotta choose, and if they hang out with one set of friends, then they're missing the other set of friends, and they're thinking about that. They do one activity, they go on vacation with their parents, and they're worried about missing their friends. If they're with their friends, then they're missing vacation with their parents, and are always trying to live somewhere else, running around. And it's fun for a time, but it will make you, it raises your stress levels. It makes things a little higher stress. Oh, right there is the laundry chute. I don't think I can get in there, but that is totally it. Which means this section of the cave is actually runs into the mountain. That's very odd. This is an odd-shaped cave. Yeah, I'm almost to my spot. And so, whether by excitement or by relaxing, by meditating, you don't got to go caving. You sit in your chair at your house, be calm, and try to not think about anything else for a few minutes. And if you're able to do that, you'll actually find that if you can live in the moment for a few moments a day, it actually brings life to the rest of your day. There's my light. It did fall down a little crevice. I guess I'll let you see that because that's kind of what I came for. There she is. Old Faithful. Fortunately, it's not a real wet cave, and I'm sure that this will fire up on command. No problem. Turn my other one off. You don't have to do things like you see people do. Like if you're interested in caving because it seems awesome. It is awesome, but I think it's awesome because we're just really living and having a great time, and it's exciting. So even if it turns scary, it's the same thing. We're truly alive. We're truly like living in that moment. It's almost like your life becomes a prayer. Your life becomes a meditation because you are living and you're not worried and you're not thinking too much of yourself. You're not thinking too little of yourself. You're not thinking about other people, something else you could be doing. You are just alive. And only in those minutes are you truly doing something with your life that's, I don't want to say it's the only thing that's of value, but it has high value to you because you're actually living in that moment. I think this is not a new principle or an idea, but I realize that it's something that's attached to our caving, that we like being here because of that, because I'm not somewhere else, someone else. I am right here. And I have learned that the last 6 months. I haven't done a lot of caving, but I call this light caving because I'm getting to feel better. But when I was very sick and discouraged, I could still do some caving, but there were those moments where I wouldn't think about pain or suffering or that I've been sick or that I'm not well yet or that the caving channel's dying because we're not producing videos. That's meaningful to me, but I also have a family and a job, and I thought, well, I'm missing all these things I'm doing. I'm not doing well at my job. I had to take time off. I only work intermittently. And I'm not confessing, I'm just saying that those are things that will drag you down. And so when I couldn't find things to do that would take my mind off it, you have to take your mind off it intentionally. And you can't take your mind off of things. You just have to put them. This is why when people meditate, if they're prayerful, you think about God. But a lot of people will also meditate and they'll just think about the breath. They'll just concentrate on nothing. That's very hard to do, but even though that seems boring, it's not, because it's a discipline. It's a muscle that's worked to just be aware of where you're living and nothing else. And 5 or 10 minutes of that a day can, I believe for everyone, but at least everyone who's tried it will say that's life-changing. It helps them be calm. It helps them feel like they're a real person. They're not lost in the future or the past or some other place. They're not lost in their thoughts. They're not, because your thoughts are really, your brain produces those thoughts, and I'm not sure scientifically, metaphysically, or spiritually if that's the real you, because those thoughts just, they spring from nowhere, and half the time they're negative. Some of you know have pretty negative thoughts. They just jump in your mind. It's like, you got to turn that radio channel off. And it's not about thinking about positive things either, because that's not always true. Your life's not always great. But focusing on what you are doing at the time. This is why people like crafts. They'll sew or something. They'll do the do-it-yourself stuff off YouTube. Because they're not somewhere else. They're in that moment. And I prefer a little bit of a challenge, so I'm in the dark underworld. And this isn't quite the bottom of the cave. Andrew and I broke through down there. I guess this is probably still better. Oh, now I'm blind and can't see. We broke through down at the bottom there, about 15 feet down. And I'm going to get out my LiDAR projector and I'm going to see what I can do to this cave, because I think it's not shaped the way that we think it is. I'm going to try to do the whole thing with my LiDAR, and I'm not sure if I can do that. I'm going to try. Thank you for coming to the bottom of the cave with me.
So I'm getting ready to leave the cave. A lot of people make requests for us to show us leaving the cave. Now I understand sometimes my anxiety to leave a cave, but I don't understand your anxiety to see us leave the cave. If I died, I would seriously still, like, it's in my will, upload the video, take the views, take the money, send Jacob to college. It ain't no sweat off my back. I'm gonna put this out this hole because I can. That's a good idea. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. There's a hole here I can't fit through, but it's technically a skylight hole. And that's pretty cool. This last part of this cave, which we were able to find and kind of dig out a bit, is this duck under. Boy, it's a lot easier to get out than it is to get in. I was just having all kinds of fits. You turn the wrong way here, I'm gonna have a bad time. But anyways, you know, if it's your opinion that you like seeing us get out, then maybe you need to deal with some secondhand anxiety there, because that's obnoxious. Anxiety is all good until you have a real problem, and then your anxiety will make it feel like it's the end of the world, and you're gonna have a bad time. Anxiety lurks, waits for, ooh, I better get in a better position here and just commit to it. That's why nobody comes in here. This entrance is a bunch of malarkey. Anxiety lurks like the darkness of a cave waiting to spring. Okay, well, I'm out. Have a great day, everybody.